Welcome to Machine Shop Tech Talk, or welcome back to Machine Shop Tech Talk. If it's your first time here, don't forget to click subscribe and click like. In manufacturing, it's not if something goes wrong, but when. So we focus and we dive into with subject experts from around the world so that you are informed when something does go wrong, a possible path to a solution. My guest today is Jonas Ström, and I hope I got that right. I don't know. He'll let me know when he comes on real quick here. He works for Autodesk, and today we're going to be digging into some of the surprising things he's learned in the last 6 months at Autodesk and how that could help your machine shop perform better. Jonas, I'm so glad to have you here. Did I mess up your name?
The name was perfect.
What's the one module within the Autodesk Fusion world that you were surprised to know helps machine shops work so well?
I mean, there's actually multiple softwares or parts within the Fusion platform that supports our customers. But one thing that is really something that we discuss with most of the customers that I meet is around data management and collaboration. And Fusion, as it is a cloud product, is super good at the collaboration part. It's super good at the data management part, and that brings a lot of value to all the customers using that platform, and also using other platforms or the Autodesk platforms that is actually containing of, I mean, Autodesk products are built now from 3 different platforms where we have Forma, that is the platform for architecture, engineering, and construction. And then we have Flow for media and entertainment. And we have Fusion for product design and manufacturing. And products within those different platforms actually are being used cross-functional between companies in all the sectors, basically.
Okay, so if you're on that system, you're not stuck within either Forma or Flow or the manufacturing envelope. You can kind of share across all of them?
Yeah, exactly. So we have a lot of manufacturing customers that are actually using our ACC product, which is Autodesk Construction Cloud. And there is actually a lot of similarities between building a building and with what our customers in the manufacturing space are working on, because a lot of it is project based. So you have either if it's a big machine you need to deliver, or if it's a big house or a big hospital or whatever it is, it's a project. And within the project you need to collaborate both within your own company and between the different departments within your company, but also with suppliers and the end customers. So the Autodesk Construction Cloud gives you the benefit and the possibility to share assets and data with multiple people, and everybody is looking at the same data, and you can make sure also that everybody is looking at the most recent data, because if someone is making an update, that goes through entire systems and everybody has access to the latest data.
So if I'm understanding right, it's all integrated in the system then. So I don't have to worry about like sending WhatsApp messages or emails or Slack or some other way to communicate updates then. It's all comprised in the same software.
Yeah, so exactly. So it doesn't really matter if it's in an Inventor file or if it's an AutoCAD file. You upload that file into ACC, and then everybody has access to that data in a very easy and structured way. You can always see the revisions and everything like that. But the good part is that you can also then directly from within that interface open up the 3D model to view it, and you get a good representation of what. It doesn't matter if it's a component for a machine or if it's a window or a door for a building.
That's really cool that it's got, because data is such an important thing right now, right? Everyone's talking Industry 4.0, and data is a huge component of that, but also the management of the data, because there's a lot of companies right now. I'm just thinking like when I was on the machine shop floor where trying to share program files, trying to share all these different things, whether I, as a parts program on the CNC or something else going on, maybe a fixture design,
Yeah.
where it was kind of difficult to send notes back and forth, and there was a lot of phone calls and a lot of other ways that you had to try to do it.
Yeah.
So you can do it all within the Autodesk platform now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that is that we're addressing with the Autodesk Fusion platform is to be able to communicate between the design department, the engineering department, and the production engineering department to make sure that everybody is having the access to the same data. And one thing that, I mean, companies in general, they have been good at digitizing within their design departments or within the CAD environment, because you have PDM softwares, you have PLM softwares, maybe you have been really good at making sure that you digitize the data that is connected to CAD. But then when you look at the workshop and when you talk about manufacturing, they're not so good at digitizing that data. So basically what is happening in many companies is that you have a mechanical engineer that designs a part, they do the CAD file, they do the 2D drawing, and then they just send that data to the production engineering or to the CAM programmer that starts to work on that. And then basically, then the connection is lost between those two departments. There's not often there's data going back. And that is one thing that I believe is super interesting with Autodesk and with the Fusion platform, is how we are trying to connect all of this and trying to not make the communication go in one direction, but also then going back in the other direction and feeding back information to other people in the organization. Because that's one thing I've seen that a lot of manufacturing companies lack. They are sort of either doing the same design mistakes over and over again, or they do the same CAM mistakes over and over again, because there is no real feedback loop in a structured and organized way. It's more ad hoc that you perhaps get feedback.
It would be so person dependent, because like I'm thinking about my experience programming and all of that. I would get, like you said, they would send me the files, but if I made any changes or if I needed something clarified, it was, I'd make a list maybe on the side because they've sent me the files, I've downloaded them, they're not connected on a cloud at all. And then anything I do doesn't get fed back to the designer. So there was times where, like the fixture holes, I did a lot of die cast products, right? Where I had to machine them after. And the fixture holes, we had to change the fixturing for this one product family because the pins on the die cast was making it a certain size. I was having to go in every single time and remember, when it's this part and this feature, I've got to change it. Because the feedback process to get the change request into the actual mechanical engineer was so cumbersome. There was tons of paperwork and documentation, and I couldn't just say, oh, hey, that 1/4 inch hole is actually 220 thou. We've got to remember that. I had no easy way. So in this, is it simpler then? Like, is it easy to flag and add notes then to these features?
I mean, basically what we can do is that you can have change orders and things like that within the product, so that you can also communicate with other users. And if you take Autodesk Fusion, which is an integrated CAD, CAM, and PCB software, you can actually add notes and things directly within that product. And one really good thing that I like is that so let's say that I am this designer, I can share the file with someone that can view it directly on the web. They can add notes to the part, make this hole bigger or move this hole or whatever it needs to say. And that will also help people with design reviews. Because if you have companies that produce their own parts, they often have design reviews, but they have them after they believe that the CAD part is complete. And then they do the design review. But if you have a cloud product, then you can start with the base features of that CAD component, share that with the production engineer that can provide input earlier in the design phase, and you can then achieve a better outcome more quickly. And you can provide sort of manufacturing insights from another person sitting in another department, or perhaps sitting in a complete different location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so important, because as we continue to advance, right, like the mission I'm on, and obviously you're on the other side of the ocean, but I want to bring more manufacturing to North America, right? So I don't want to steal it from you, but there's other places in the world I would like to steal it back from.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the things is the speed of communication, right? Yeah. Like the lack of feedback in the design product. I've interviewed a few engineers. They're like, look, like when we design for manufacturability, it's important to have two-way communication, but there's not a lot of good systems out there. And it sounds like the Autodesk family has put a lot of thought into making it easier for everybody to talk together.
Yeah. And I mean, on that topic, I work with customers in the Nordic, but all the customers that I work with, they have factories around the world. So it could be a design engineer or a mechanical engineer sitting in Sweden or in Finland, but the factory producing the part can be in Spain, or it can be in US. And that's how it is these days. I mean, you have the big companies have people on multiple locations, and they need to be able to collaborate, and they need to be able to work together. And then having these cloud products, or the cloud connectivity, is super important, and it gives a lot of benefits.
That's a really cool feature. We've kind of talked about all of that. That was the main thing I wanted to talk about. But I'm curious, man. We've known each other a while, even before you started with Autodesk. So what's some of the surprising things you've learned about Autodesk as a company since you started there? What's it been like for you as a new person at the company?
I mean, of course, I had the privilege to work together with the team at Autodesk, and especially with the Fusion team before I joined. And I could then see the way they were acting and the way they were collaborating internally. And also, I was impressed with how quickly they got things developed, and how smooth everything seemed to be. I would say that is something that is, for me, the best thing about Autodesk is the people. Since I've joined, I have had people from within Autodesk reaching out to me, offering their support, offering their help to get me, started within the company. And I would say that the culture within the company is great. It's a very relaxed and inclusive company culture, and it goes from our CEO and all the way down. Everybody is super helpful, and there is always a relaxed atmosphere, and you feel that you can always be your own. We are always supporting each other, and that's also the way we want to work with our customers, and especially the customers that I work with. We see it as a partnership. We want to be there for them, work together with them, and helping them to achieve their goals. And that's the mindset we have in the team or in the different teams that I'm working with. So that's super fun.
Yeah.
I also learned, I did know that Autodesk was big in the construction industry, so probably world leading in most likely all architecture, engineering, construction firms are using Autodesk products. That's how it is. It has been that for a long time. So I did know that. Yeah. I did know that Autodesk had products within the media and entertainment industry. But one thing that I learned in one of the sort of onboarding sessions that I participated in is that actually all movies that have been nominated for an Oscar award for best visual effects have, for the last 20 years, have been using Autodesk products. So
really,
that's really amazing, and that wasn't something that I knew before.
Yeah, so is it the rendering side? Because I know, like on the CAD CAM side, you can. So is it just the power of the rendering? Why do you think it is that all the movies use it?
I don't have details on that software portfolio, but I know that movies like Avatar, Frozen, Game of Thrones, they have all used Autodesk software to produce those movies. So even if it's just for some stuff, or if it's sort of major things in the movies, and I think a lot has to do with renderings and just making things that are produced in a studio look real.
That's such a surprising one, because I mean, I think Autodesk, I think manufacturing, I think machine shops. My vision's not quite so wide as yours, right? I'm very much like, I used to, back when it was still called Fusion 360, I took a lot of the training and all of that stuff to use it. So it's really neat to hear about different ways that it's actually used in the world.
Yeah, I mean, all of this links together because we have manufacturing companies that are using products to create photorealistic renderings for all their products. So you can go into a web page or a product catalog or whatever, and you think this is a really nice image they have taken, a really nice photo shoot they did, but it's computer rendered. Everything is computer rendered, and you can't see that when you look at the web page. And that is also a strength by working in multiple industries, that you can share technologies and development between those different industries, because there is similarities and there is things that can be utilized within more than one industry, even though perhaps one industry is bigger in that area.
That is so cool, Jonas. And I'm so glad we got to have this and share it with anyone out there watching. I think it's a good place to wrap up the conversation. So thank you. I mean, now we've talked about, the data management side, which is huge. We don't want silos between departments. We want everybody working together and communicating across the company. And then we also got to learn about all these different ways that Autodesk is used in the world that I hadn't thought about. I mean, movies and then product like web pages means they're not spending millions on photography. They're designing these things in the software and rendering it out. That is very cool. So before we stop recording, is there anything you wanted to share with whoever's out there watching?
I mean, one thing that I would like to share is that, I mean, same as you, I share the passion for the manufacturing industry. And for me, I've spent my entire working life within the manufacturing industry, and there's always something new to learn. So from that point of view, I think it's the best industry to be in. You can always find new things to explore, and there's always possibility for growth, and it's a super fun industry to be in. And I think if someone is considering a career within manufacturing, just go for it, because there is endless of opportunities within this industry.
I love that as a closing note, and I'm just going to quickly add to that. It doesn't matter what age you are. I've seen people come into manufacturing in their 40s and 50s and have an amazing career path. So don't think, oh, I'm too old. You can come into manufacturing too. Well, thank you so much to Jonas. And I'm so glad that we got to have this conversation. And to all my machining friends out there, keep your spindles turning and earning.